Well, you can't win the Men's Super League in October, but you can lose it. And one of these two teams will leave the National Basketball Arena without their 100% record. It's Templeogue against UCD. Matt Hall on co-commentary, you're very welcome to this evening's game.
Thanks a lot, it's delighted to be here.
Willock Morrison, the starting point guard for Templeogue, gets the first shot away. Not in anger, he's not that sort of chap. Justin Moreira has the honour and the opener for UCD Marian. Mike Bonaparte to Jason Killeen. Good start for the Irish big man.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a huge matchup in the game, Moreira versus Killeen. Moreira's had an excellent start to the season. Troubled everyone he's gone against, and Killeen again has averaged close to 20 for the season.
Dan James, very much a three-point specialist, looking to get his eye in for Marian.
Nice start for Bonaparte as well. He's had quite a quiet start to the season so far, but mainly due to the Templeogue games. They haven't been challenged too much so far this season, so it'll be interesting to see now with the pressure on in this big game how he plays this evening.
I think everyone knew that UCD Marian would be a much improved side for 2016-2017. Whether that amounts to a sustained title challenge, we'll have to wait and see. A win here would go a long way to establishing their credentials, which really weren't considered until an impressive win over UCC Demons on their home court in Belfield. Killeen goes under the basket. The result is the same, 2 points. Barry Drum, light of foot, takes on Morrison, goes all the way. Can't finish. Bonaparte sets off. Colour-coded trainers built for speed, misses that one.
Fast start to the game, both teams looking to get up and down. We saw Barry Drum get to the basket there, wasn't able to finish. That'll be a matchup that UCD will very much be looking to get the better of, with Scott Kinnaman on the bench as well, and Barry. They'll be looking to go at the point guard spot. Obviously, Templeogue have Puff Summers on the bench, but when Bonaparte's out there, they can't have Puff as well, so it'll be a chance for UCD to try and make the most of that situation. But Boylock's proved last year that he's more than a match for the majority of players in this league, and he certainly won't let the team down at all from Templeogue's side.
They are two of the teams with the deepest benches in the league. You look down to UCD Marian, Mike Garrow to be sprung at a moment's notice. Scott Kinnaman, as Matt mentioned. Baines. James Brophy, the big man. Mark Nagel, such an elegant shooter, although he's with DCU these days. Here's Drum. Anthony Silvestri, his first trip to the arena.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing Silvestri. I've heard he's a knockdown shooter, supposed to be very good, and the fact he's starting ahead of Mike Garrow shows that he's been playing well. He's had a good start to the season with 16 points against Aino as well, so good reports from him in training, and looking forward to watching him play today.
Moreira, clean shaven for this occasion. Conor Meany, close shave to the basket that time. Boylock and Jason Killeen, Boylock Morrison and Killeen. One of the biggest contrasts in the Men's Super League between these two players. The basketball is a game for all shapes and sizes, as Templeogue will attest to. Bonaparte thinks about the step back, goes inside. Draws applause from his bench and the crowd alike.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier, a quiet start to the season for Bonaparte, only getting 15, 17 points in the 2 games, but certainly from the look of the start of this game, as Mike Gow was just checking in for Silvestri already, like they certainly, Bonaparte and Killeen certainly look like they've come to play today and realise that, you know, this is the matchup the whole league has been waiting to see so far, and if the start is anything to go by, you expect to see a big performance from Bonaparte today.
So, Templeogue Bonaparte won't be pleased with his return from the free throw line there, although his side does lead UCD Marian by 6 points. Lorcan Murphy facing off against Conor Meany. Garrow's in the game. Such an electric player for Griffith Swords Thunder last season. Turns provider for Herrera. Bounce pass to Boylock Morrison. Can he get around Herrera? He can, but can't get his shot on target. Another reverse attempt for Killeen. Takes the offensive rebound and has a chance for the bonus.
Yeah, as you see there, Killeen, great move from Morrison. He didn't bother passing the ball because he knows full well to get up on the backboard, and Killeen will clean up the basket, the boards inside. Great position from Jason, and finishes at the second attempt. But you see the full court pressure from UCD, something that's really been giving their other opponents so far this season a huge amount of trouble. But so far today, Templeogue have managed to break that pressure quickly and ended up with quick baskets.
Killeen gets the roll, moves to 7 points already. Again, it's Murphy and Meany. And Killeen gets back. That was an illegal block from the Limerick man.
Yeah, you see good drive by Meany, but Killeen just gets there, knocks onto the bottom of the backboard and out of bounds.
Stephen James moves on to it, passes to his Ireland and Templeogue teammate for the dunk from Bonaparte.
Fantastic fast break basketball from Templeogue, and they're keeping this pace going with a good, strong early lead, mainly based on fast break basketball.
A little bit of room for Dan James. Here it is, second attempt from three-point range, doesn't go this time. Javelin to Bonaparte, the layoff. Travel called.
Yeah, instant look at that. Call Bonaparte for taking the 2 steps.
UCD Marian called the timeout, trailing by 13 points to 4. Former UL Eagles point guard Scott Kinnavan comes into the game. Took a year out from Super League and maybe needs to get his touch back a little bit more before he goes for passes like that.
Yeah, you don't want to say a nervy start for UCD, but they haven't quite clicked as yet offensively. Obviously, like in the early games this season, a very high scoring team, scoring 99 to 107. Last week, they only got 77, so 74, so it's like maybe a little bit of a hangover from that performance against Star, but certainly you'd expect them to find their shooting range soon enough, as it's what they're known for, and Templeogue will be pleased with the lead they've got at the moment.
Just a little scrappy on the last couple of possessions. Does mean that Templeogue haven't gotten any further away from their South Dublin neighbours. Neil Randolph into the game. Killeen for 2. 9 points now for Killeen. Kinnivan, Garrow, Meany on the move. And safe hands from the brother of West Ham goalkeeper Darren Randolph as Mike Bonaparte scores 2 again. Very much guard heavy at the moment, with Drum and Kinnivan on the floor. Teed up Moreira perfectly.
Needed that from Moreira. He had a great first offense, and then he's really been out of the game offensively and ended up just having trouble with Killeen as he gets a steal there. But they need to find his offensive game.
Pulls up Meany. And bit of an ankle breaker there from Gaelic Morrison on Barry Drum, who does get back to cover. Stephen James. Delicate, athletic, another 2 for Bonaparte.
Yeah, very interesting matchup there, Bonaparte and Garrow. It's really working out for Templeogue because Bonaparte is too physical down on the offensive end, but also the fact that Garrow doesn't go to the boards too much, is nice 2 inside, means that Bonaparte is just taking off on the fast break and is resulting in an easy basket for Templeogue.
Quick pause as Conor Meany makes way. Into the game comes Neil Baines. Bamboozling handle from Gaelic Morrison. Scott Kinnivan played local basketball with Aina last year on his return to Dublin, but he's a pedigree player. Neil Randolph brings it down. Good outlet to Morrison, who had to think quick to get it around. Moreira needs help now. It comes in the form of Killeen. Stephen James with the open 3. Jason Killeen beats 2 players to that rebound. And that won't count, but Killeen won't mind.
Yeah, see the missed shot from James there. He hits those well, so you know Jason knows he's going to shoot that, gets in there. But at the moment, UCD Marian having a real trouble with Killeen under the boards, and they need to stop that source of second shots for Templeogue as Randolph gets a breakthrough.
Kinnivan cuts inside, goes to Garrow, pulls out of the 3, shoots the mid-range, and Killeen is just unstoppable on the boards at the moment. Nice pass. Randolph couldn't execute the back-to-back triples. Here comes Barry Drum. Moreira is the go-to shooter, but he's missed his last 2. What can Neil Baines do? Drive inside. Killeen unhappy, thought the defense was good.
Yeah, it looked like he probably got a bit of a body there, but just see here, I think it comes back out to Baines. Yeah, definitely got part of the body there as he went up, good call. But you'll see that the UCDs haven't been able to find a consistent score as Puff Summers steps into the game here for Bonaparte. Haven't been able to find a consistent score, which has meant that Templeogue are consistently getting to run out on defense, from going from defense to offense all the time, because they're just cleaning up all the missed shots with Killeen. So UCD just need to score some baskets. You know, Templeogue on 22 points, and that's mainly down to the fact there's so much fast break basketball for them. If UCD score a few more, that will slow the game down, and then we'll have a better idea of who's going to come out on top on the end. But if UCD continue with this drought, then you can only see Templeogue pulling away at the moment.
And Yanis Leopakis isn't happy. A lot of Greek passion. It's his modus operandi for sure.
I think that was Yanis being happy, in fact. She's mistaken him.
And has some words of wisdom for Barry Drum. As Niamh Baines goes to the line. UCD Marian certainly don't need to hit the panic button just yet. Well, they do trail by 12 points, with 2:12 to go in the first. Puff Summers into the game. Combines with a player he was coached to as part of the Ireland senior setup over the summer with Stephen James. And their teammates in the red of Templeogue for 2016-2017 after making the switch from Team Kilkenny. Ronan McLaughlin into the game for the first time. Takes up residence at the top of the key. But it's Randolph for the baseline three. And what can Drum do on the break? Baines, one of the more mobile big men. Kinnivan barking orders, wants to set up the half court. Baines takes on Killeen, another rejection. This one's clean. Puff Summers, and they just do everything at speed. To Templeogue, massive save from McLaughlin. He's all the way off the court. Back in now as Randolph hits Stephen James. 5 on the shot clock. Travel call.
See there, good move from Baines, but a clean again. You always think you've beaten him, but just his long arms, a little bit of athleticism gets him back there, and a nice block in the basket. So 1:18 to go. UCD really need a score this time, just a bit of confidence going into the end of the quarter.
Garrow on the spin. Looked good, didn't have the desired effect. And Puff Summers slows this one down, takes control. Randolph, McLaughlin swerves around. Wanted the leg ball, didn't get it.
Yeah, the last shot from Mike Garrow was something we saw from him last year when he came off the bench for Travelodge Storage Thunder. Consistently hit those last year for them. But today he's had a little bit of a tough time getting the start into the game, but I'm sure the way he plays it will find his range fairly soon.
Templeogue known for some extravagant offense, but they do their work on defense to allow for the fast break. Summers, Killeen Summers, and 37 seconds left to go in the quarter. Randolph inside, gets the bump, goes to the line.
Yeah, nice move from Randolph. Kelly lets him get to the middle of the lane, and once you get into the middle of the lane on offense, only good things happen for you. And they end up going to the line for 2 as Barry Drum takes a rest.
So, basketball is a family affair in Ireland. Of course, we have 2 brothers playing against each other today, Stephen James of Templeogue versus Conor James. But great to see the Randolph name alive and balling at the National Basketball Arena. Son of former Super League player Ed Randolph and brother of former basketballer and current West Ham goalkeeper Darren Randolph. It was Matt Kelly with the missed 3. Summers sets off again, creates the space for Ronan McLaughlin. Very smart use of himself and the shot clock. Will he call the last play of the quarter on himself? No, it's to McLaughlin. Beats the buzzer. UCD showing signs of recovery, but still trail Templeogue 24 points to 10. atmosphere building here at the National Basketball Arena. Summers trying to go all the way around Kinnivan. Foul is on Kinnivan. Summers plays Randolph for Baines to pull down. Shooting percentages aren't great so far, but you get that close in and your chances are improved. Good work, Conamini.
That's a bit more like what we're used to seeing from Meany and UCD.
Oh, that's great stuff from Stephen James. Pulls the ball out of trouble and sinks the jumper.
At the moment, still, the press from UCD isn't quite working, and Templeogue are getting easy back out of it, but I don't think Giannis will go away from it, because I think it's something that works for them, and eventually it will wear down Templeogue. I think it's something they'll stick to and hope that it comes good towards the end of the game.
Comes Conamini again, created it wide open for Kinnivan. He'll be disappointed with that. Ronan O'Sullivan. And they'll both feel entitled to possession on that one.
Yeah, definitely came off the leg of UCD, but in fairness to the referee, almost impossible to see from where he was. It just clipped the leg as it was on the run, but you know, it was a great angle from us. We were right behind it, but I can understand why he didn't see it.
Dan James back in the game, taking on his brother. Conamini, great use of the screen, but can't find Baines with the return. Puff Summers, he just makes it look so easy. UCD are going to need to get off the pot soon because they trail by 16. Oh, nice move by Connor, creates the space, but short on options. Silvestri was there, he wanted it, but he went with Baines. Play continues.
Yeah, I've been saying no panic as of you, Ross, for UCD, but the longer this goes on, we're 12 minutes into the game now and only 12 points on the board, the longer it goes on, especially when you play in the National Basketball Arena where people have mental demons about shooting, and UCD are very much a good shooting team, you know, it becomes harder and harder and harder, so they'll really be looking to get a couple of easy scores, so if Templeogue can keep the defense up as a timeout's called, then they'll continue to pull away.
7:43 to the half, Templeogue lead 28 points to 12. Murphy's back in. Can't hold Kinnivan in his tracks. Silvestri, with his first miss, is coming back onto the court. Here's Larkin now. Tried to do a 180 mid-air to find his teammate. Couldn't quite pull it off.
Yeah, slow start to the game for Logan. I think he's yet to score, didn't really get involved in the first few minutes and then was subbed out. I mean, he's averaging 20 points for Templeogue a game, just over in his first 3 games. And he's really had an excellent start to the season. There's a huge improvement in his shooting from last year. So hopefully he'll get into the game when we see the best of him.
That's just gorgeous from Puff Summers. 30 points to 12, the advantage now.
Yeah, it's getting the critical time now for UCD. They'll be looking at the half-time, you know, and trying to get it down to, or trying to keep it to within 15 points. As a foul's called at half-time. If it's more than 15 points at half-time, it becomes a huge task to get back into the game in the second half, especially against someone with the quality of Templeogue.
And Puff, the man to take the bench for the foreseeable.
Yeah, I think that's bad news as well for UCD, because Bonaparte was at the centre of all the fast breaks in the first half, although I think it might help the fact that Jason's gone to the bench as well, means that Bonaparte will have to resume the rebounding responsibilities for them.
And there's, oh, that's good work from Neil Randolph. 20 points, the difference now. UCD just not getting the return from their new recruits. Until now, Silvestri is in the game. Randolph misses the pass from James. That's a second one that's gone astray from James. Kinnivan was asking an awful lot of himself to try and find Baines under the basket there. A lot of personalities on the floor for Marian right now. Yanis Leopakis talked about improved chemistry. We're going to need to see it if there's going to be game on here. There's 17 points between the sides. They have lots of players who don't turn over the ball, but they need to create scoring opportunities. Here's James, can't get it off the glass. And that's a threat right there as Bonaparte goes to Lorcan Murphy.
Charge called. Bonaparte starts the fast break again. Yeah, good call, I think. Connor had himself set there. Took the charge from Murphy, just guessed right there. Had some good defense, and maybe this will be the start of a little run for UCD. Certainly for the neutral, I think it's, you know, in a fairly big crowd here today, I think everyone's kind of tuned in for this. It's a big game of the season, so I think hopefully from a neutral point of view, we'd like to see UCD get it down to maybe 10, 12 points in the second half so that we can really see a good competition in the second half.
Alan O'Neill checks into the game for Templeogue. UCD Marian are back with their starting 5. We're midway through the second. Travel called. They're just not getting the rub of the green right now.
Steve Drum here, comes to a jump stop, yeah, actually a very good call. He was pivoting with his right foot and switched it up to his left foot.
Bonaparte takes on 2 UCD Marian players. It frees up Neil Randolph. And now it's Marian who look for the fast break. Silvestri, Barry Drum is wide open. Still is. So it comes to him, and he puts it up and sticks it. Now we're talking UCD Marian.
Yeah, big chance for UCD here. The 5 that Coach Keenan has out on the team, he doesn't have that much score in the shooting of Randolph and the inside play of Bonaparte, but outside of that, as Morrison takes a step back shot, which would be the kind of shot that UCD will like. They haven't got too much of their scoring threat on there, so if UCD can get a bit of a run here.
There's more pace to UCD Marian, but still 14 points between the sides.
You see Coach Keenan asking them to slow down on the sideline. It's very much a 5 that he would like to see work the clock and take a bit of time out of the game so he can get a bit of a rest for the likes of Killeen.
Not much Bonaparte can do with that. Speculative but effective, Michael Bonaparte. Dan James still has to get his eye in from three-point range. What can he do inside? Well, it just opened up for him there, didn't it? Both teams up to the pitch of the game right now. And it's just inviting for Michael Bonaparte.
Breaks the press again there. Still Templeogue are finding it fairly easy to break the full court pressure from UCD, especially when the ball's in the hands of Bonaparte and their speedsters Logan Murphy and Braylock Morrison.
Logan Murphy may have his cough softened for him, the fact that he's on 3 fouls already. .344 to go to the half now. Bonaparte starts to improve his return from the free throw line. Mike Garrow is back in for Anthony Silvestri for UCD Marian. And he'll take possession now. And Morrison attentive on Barry Drum. Drum made up to go all the way himself. No, says Michael Bonaparte. It's some emphatic defense from the Grenadian. Dan James. Don't know if he called bank or not. We'll take the 2 either way. 3:20 to the half. Oh, sumptuous stuff.
Again, it's Bonaparte just finds a way of breaking the pressure. Breaking the pressure, they just have to stop him dribbling out of the press. The press is designed there to put pressure on, but Bonaparte just keeps singly dribbling out of it, which is a strict no-no in that situation.
UCD are starting to make some inroads inside, but all they can do is go toe-to-toe with the Hula Hoops National Cup champions right about now.
There you see Bonaparte splits the defense there and a great finish off the glass. And straight after that, the next bit of full court pressure, Braylock Morrison breaks the press and ends up getting a foul. But again, I think UCD will stick with it. It has worked for them and they certainly can use the press. It's just a case of getting it right and slowing down the dribble.
Randolph just about holds on to that one. Here's Alan O'Neill. Once again, it's brother versus brother. Good athletic rebounding from Mike Garrow. Looks up, tries to spark the UCD offense into life. Barry Drum's wide open. Conor Meany doesn't see him, but there's time for Dan James. And it's just too quick from Templeogue right now, although Alan O'Neill can't convert. He is in possession. I thought he was just a forward. Guys that big aren't supposed to shoot for 3 like that, am I correct?
Certainly a great shot from Bonaparte there. He's had an excellent first half.
38-41 plays 24 with 2:07 to go in the half. How will UCD Marian heading in at half-time? Will they feel like it's game over? Or will they feel like they've got something left to play for? Neil Randolph has no intention of making life any easier for them.
Yeah, I was about to say a huge 2 minutes for UCD, try and get it back down towards 10 points, but at the moment it's Templeogue pushing out the other way, going to look, try and get it past 20.
Jump, dribbled on the left, shoots on the right, makes the 2. O'Neill tried to barrel past Conor Meany, but forgot about the ball. Got the luck though.
Yeah, Conor made the decision to see Barry Drum. Nice shot, and that's what's going to have to happen. There's no chance, especially with Killeen inside, that Templeogue are going to allow easy baskets, let them back in the game. It will have to be made jump shots to force Templeogue to come out a little bit.
UCD are trying to speed things up, but Templeogue all too keen to get back in numbers. One of the reasons Templeogue mounted a serious challenge for the Super League title last season was their ability to win tight games and win well without playing well. But they're on form today. For this first half, there's 45 seconds left in it, and the lead by 17. Giannis Diapakis is apoplectic with his players. Happy enough about that too.
Yeah, Mike Gower did a great job of running straight down into the block, and they had a mismatch. It took them a while to get it into him, but in fairness, they were patient, and nice move inside from Gower, and he's fouled. And that's really the first good opportunity he's had to get on the score sheet. So it'll give him a little bit of confidence, at least going into the second half.
It's as good as it's gotten in the last 5 or 6 minutes for UCD as they trail by 14. Bonaparte picked off at 3 the last time he felt like it. No joy this time. There's 20 seconds left. Yes. Shot clock disappears.
A score here will leave UCD and coach Diapakis very happy, I think. I mean, they were just down 19 with 1:40 to go, and they have a chance to get it down close to 10 or 11 or 12 points. So a good score, and they'll be extremely happy.
Meany takes it on. Last minute switch. Good basket. And UCD Marian up off their feet, trailing by 12. Scores Templeogue 43, UCD Marian 31. Chat to you in 10 minutes. calm standing by. So UCD Marian will know that their tactics should pay dividends in the fourth, but will they be out of sight by then? They trail Templeogue by 12. Gaelic Marson to Randolph. Jason Killeen's back on the floor. Had a little Suspiog for himself. Over the top to Garrow. Should be a simple finish, but he does love the flourish, doesn't he?
Good start for UCD. Nice easy basket. Mike Garrow's back-to-back baskets there. He scored one at the end of the last quarter, so he'll be looking for a fast start in the second half.
That's opened up just lovely for Templeogue. So no run just yet for Marian. Sneaks in for his own rebound. Gets the roll to finish close in.
And that's a lot more like we saw the Mike Garrow of last year. Just look to score at all occasions, chase everything, and pour in the points.
UCD barrel ahead. Dan James. Garrow's the form player for the Belfield boys. He sure is. It's 6 and 2 minutes now. Bonaparte misses the chance to reply directly.
AC Garrow straight down the middle of the lane, a lovely finish over the top of the outstretched arm of Killeen. But we've seen a different pace from UCD coming out of the half-time break. They've looked to push the ball up a lot more. Less half-court offense, which was very much the tactics of Templeogue in the first half. Try and get into the offenses quickly, try and get some early looks, which is what we've seen a lot of UCD do. So hopefully that will pick up their score, and already they're closer back in the game, only down 8, which I think is the closest they've been since the first minutes of the first quarter.
Yeah, it was out to 19 at one point, and here's Garrow again. 8 points in 2 minutes for the American.
Yeah, completely different pace. Push the ball down the wings. Fast break basketball. Much better than the slow stuff we saw in the first half, which wasn't working for them.
Gaelic Marson will have to endure the chance of air ball from the bleachers. But Garrow is heating up the National Basketball Arena.
See, great passing, great ball movement. And 2 versus 1 against Killeen in the middle there, and it's a lot more from what we'd like to expect to see from UCD.
Conor Meany, superb pass, great finish. And Moreira makes it a 4-point game right now. It's good work from Randolph and Gaelic Marson. And just when they needed it, Stephen James supplies the triple.
Yeah, huge shot from James, because UCD really were putting on a little bit of pressure. As a missed shot from Garrow, but if that hadn't gone in, it was a long 2, then UCD really would have got a lift from it, but Templeogue have just steadied the ship a little bit there.
Randolph did really well to hit the brakes there. Always had Conor Meany in there, looking to provide some urgency. Big call. It's gone to the boys in blue.
A lot of energy coming from Barry Drum in particular here. UCD are really looking to put a bit of pressure on the ball. Drum seems to be doubling a lot of the time, and the rest of the players are rotating. But it's really making Templeogue make some choices they don't want to make here.
And the Marian bench are engaged too. That's always a good sign. Garrett takes on Bonaparte. It's opened up. Overcooked the finish. Silvestri will look to come back into the game. Direct swap for Garrow.
Yeah, foul by Dan James there. He falls to the floor, but probably a good foul. Bonaparte's been very effective in the open court, so good choice to take the foul, stop them, and UCD's half-court defense looked a lot better in the second half.
Stephen James, what a tonic of a three-pointer from James. What can Randolph do? Killeen, once again, delivers on the rebound, but not on the finish. UCD Marian still with the bit between their teeth. Important rebound from Randolph.
Yeah, missed opportunity from Drum there. I don't think he quite realised where he was. He'd actually got all the way to the basket, but Dan James, we'd expect to see him hitting those.
Morrison trying to create some space for Randolph and takes it himself. It's a couple of misses now. But Templeogue's offensive rebounds have really stood to them. Meany with a superb pass. Oh, Templeogue let off the hook there. Gap is out to 8. Bonaparte. Now it's a double-digit lead.
Lovely backdoor cut from Bonaparte, nice pass. Easy finish for him, he has 10 points.
UCD Marian had this deficit into 4. But it's back down again.
Technical foul has been called there. It's on Killeen. He must have said something the referees are really clamping down on this. This time it's a good move from Meany inside, good spin. I think Jason was looking for the travel, but it looked quite good to me.
Jason Killeen may not be a big Bananarama fan, but he will be familiar with their 1984 hit Rough Justice, because it's been served right there.
Yeah, and a big call too. That's Jason's 3rd foul now, so he'll have to be a little bit more careful as Meany goes to the line. But certainly a different pace from UCD, and even though it's back up to 8, everything got down to 4, I mean, that's really a little bit of trade-in baskets. That's always going to happen. The big thing is they've cut right into the deficit. So, I mean, if they can keep it to 8 for the remainder of this quarter, going into the last quarter, I think they'll be very pleased. Just the way they've been playing, too, with the up-tempo, they now found a way to score consistently, so they'll feel like they've got a foothold in this game.
Kelly plays Kinnavan, the double substitution. Here's Silvestri. And Kelly just couldn't resist there. Mark Keenan looking to build on a breakout season for Templeogue. Contenders for the league title all the way through. Won Hula Hoops National Cup on this court last January. All set to defend their title. UCD in a bit of foul trouble now as well, with 4:33 to go in the 3rd.
Yeah, good footwork from Bonaparte. Just got Kelly to bite a little bit on the shot fake, and we all know he's very quick on that first step getting to the basket.
Randolph. Nice over-the-top pass from Killeen, but Morrison's shooting has been letting him down in the last few minutes. And it's opened up for Matt Kelly, and we're back to a 2-possession game.
Great pass, break basketball from UCD there. Good pass from Kinnavan to Kelly, and now we've game on our hands.
Killeen went looking for it, and he didn't get it. And the timeout has been called. Templeogue with just a 5-point lead now, in from 19. They lead UCD Marian 51-46. 13 seconds on the shot clock. Goes up from James. UCD Marian, whilst Templeogue still deserve to be in front, Marian have fought their way back into this game. They stuck to the process, and the game plan is coming off. Templeogue looking for something that little bit different. Lorcan Murphy in the game, albeit on 3 fouls. Face guard from Neil Randolph. Silvestri created some space. Meany went into Superman mode there.
Yeah, good move from Conamini. In the first half, they looked to pass and pass and pass, and things weren't quite working out for them, but took the bull by the horns there. Nothing was looking like it was going to get open. He put the ball on the floor and gets himself found in the middle lane again. Once you get in the middle lane, good things happen. As Gower comes back in for a bit of scoring.
Michael Bonaparte determined not to let UCD Marian do what they want to do. Cheeky pup. These guys have been going toe-to-toe, particularly the likes of Michael Bonaparte, a real stalwart of the Men's Super League. Played with a number of clubs, won a lot of silverware with Colester, won a lot of fans with Neptune, and was as happy as anyone to lift the Hula Hoops Men's National Cup with Templeogue last season. He's been a long-standing servant himself, and he's made it a one-possession game here at the National Basketball Arena. Killeen barely had to get off the ground to dunk it. But it's a strong riposte.
And you see a great passing against the press, ending with a 2v1, and again, the press is quite easily broken by Templeogue. And Killeen will have a chance to go for double the lead back up to 6, but I mean, the one worry I have at this point for Templeogue is that so far UCD haven't had anything from the three-point line from the likes of Meany and Dan James, who are two of the league's best three-point shooters. If they start to make a couple, all of a sudden a big lead can turn into a deficit very quickly.
Superb defense once again. No compromise on the screen from Bonaparte either. Killeen, another offensive rebound. Closing in on the double-double, 7 points, the difference.
UCD will want to stop this quickly and get a score here, because Templeogue will stop the run and add into their lead a little bit themselves.
.225 left in the third as Michael Bonaparte takes it up. Predictable from Templeogue right now as they wait for something to present itself. Good off-the-ball work from Lorcan Murphy. As Killeen backs in and picks out Neil Randolph. Kinnivan looks to capitalise. Short on options, goes for Garrow. He's open, it's short. Once again gets his own rebound. Meany this time, it's still open. They're letting themselves down here and they know it. He's just a beast of a player, Michael Bonaparte. He's 6'6" and he does what he wants.
Yes, Bonaparte there, taking out Conamini. A nice, in American football, I think they call that a nice block. He cleared out the middle of the floor, allowed for an easy shot, and it
was his last contribution as Lawrence Puff Summers comes into the game. Marian not pleased that the whistle went again against them on that occasion. Second foul for Dan James. And a well-earned rest, and well he might laugh. Has been the difference between the sides.
Yeah, he's been an excellent game today, very physical as we just saw, but also leading the fast break, which is something you don't see that much of him because normally he has to rebound a lot, but today he really has been a thorn in the side, just getting down the floor and finishing on the fast break down the other end.
Can go into beast mode with a smile on his face. Mike Bonaparte. So 1:36 left in the third. UCD not as close as they were, but still in touching distance. Kinnivan, he called this play. Is it going to work out? Baines missed the putback. It was an opportunity. Randolph had to be alive to give the return to Summers. Might go for the late kick, and he does. Killeen more than comfortable in traffic, and it eventually finds its way to Stephen James. Less than a minute to go now in the quarter. UCD need to get back in touch. Can Moreira help? But this time the putback, and it's Garrows.
A nice pass break from UCD and a good tip in from Garrow after a good move from Moreira, although he'd like to have finished that one.
Murphy takes it on himself, pulls up. 30 seconds left in the third.
Score here for UCD, and they'll have had a wonderful third quarter and be delighted with the fact.
It's good resolve from Leopakis' side. Baines nearly left it after him. In fact, he has. It's way over the top. And you know what this boy's going to do. One-handed flush for Murphy. Play continues. Finish out the quarter. Barry Drum. Well, it's a single-digit lead for Templeogue. They haven't won it yet. 10 minutes to play at the National Basketball Arena. They lead UCD Marian with 59-50. This game is well poised for a decent final quarter until Lorcan Murphy gets caught napping.
Yeah, tough game for Lorcan today. Foul trouble has really kept him from getting into the game very much. You know, he got that lovely dunk, as he often does in the last offense. But, you know, after an up and down third quarter of a quarter of runs, I think the coaches will both be fairly happy with the quarter. UCD and that they got themselves back into the game, but Coach Keenan with Templeogue, that they let the lead slip down to 4, but now they're up 9 at the end of the quarter, which, you know, at the start of the game he'd have been delighted with. So this quarter we'll just see who has the most resolve at the end of it.
Randolph. We've seen him make back-to-back triples, but not quite on form today.
Yeah, and the battle is it's going to be really intriguing to see Mike Garrow. Good hands from someone in there. I think they just got a tip on it. But both teams have been at their best when they've been running, and you can only play running basketball off missed shots and getting rebounds. So something has to give. They can't both start running, get easy baskets on the fast break. So whoever gets the majority of the fast breaks, you'd have to think would come out on top of this one.
Good defense from Templeogue, but it's opened up for Barry Drum. Back to a two-possession game. goes all the way over. And get more pace in this from UCD Marian. As they go through the gears, they're impressive. That's a let-off for Templeogue. Moreira had time and space, and he can't outmuscle Jason Killeen, who javelins over the top to Murphy, who can spin and finish. It's beautiful.
I was all set. Kinnaman with a nice pass inside. I was just going to say, I was all set to say how great of a defensive effort that was from Scott Kinnaman here. He plays terrific defense, but Murphy makes light of it here with a fantastic spin and a lovely soft touch to finish. You have to be impressed with that, because you couldn't have played much better defense.
Basketball is a blink and you'll miss it game. We're back the other end.
Yeah, UCD in a 2-3 zone at the moment, with a big lineup on the floor, a lineup we haven't seen for most of the game, with both Baines, Moreira and Garrow on the floor, and just the 2 guards. For most of the time, they've had at least 3 guards out there, so it'll be interesting to see how this next few minutes plays out. Baines had a couple of opportunities inside the last couple of plays. It seems to work them, but he needs to finish this to make it worthwhile.
And eventually drops pinball style. Killeen. And it's gone all the way around the perimeter, allowing everyone to make their move. UCD had the coverage there to make it count. Will Kinnaman go coast to coast? Not if Lorcan Murphy has anything to say about it, and he'll look to go the same himself. Flexes every muscle he's got, and he'll go to the line for the bonus.
Intentional foul is called there. You know, by the letter of the law, if you're the last man you foul, I think that's, for me, that's a good effort at going for the ball and nothing more. The results in the foul, often you can get those clean. I can understand that, you know, it may be the rule in some cases, but I think the rule is misused for me on that occasion.
Yeah, he looks tired. I think the celebrations took their toll. Clearly not, as he secures the extras and a 10-point lead for Templeogue.
And it's amazing how just a basket, a dunk at the end of the 3rd quarter for Lorcan Murphy has completely changed his mindset and the way he's played in this game. And all of a sudden we've seen a couple of good finishes on the fast break, and all of a sudden he's on his way towards 10 points and a pretty good game.
He's on 4 fouls, so Mark Keenan probably looks happy enough to let him empty the tank. What can James do from a switch in wings? Not much, but again, Marian with much more urgency in transition. As Puff Summers steps in to intercept. Seven and a half minutes left. Neil Baines has been well marshalled by Jason Killeen today.
Yeah, good defense from Jason without fouling there.
Oh, well claimed. Barry Drum, off he goes. They're guard heavy now again with himself and Conor Meaney on the floor. Dan James was lurking there as well. But Drum picks up the 2nd foul.
UCD really do need Meaney and James to find their 3-point range. Like I said earlier, fantastic 3-point shooters on their day, and if they can hit a few of those, it just changes the game completely.
Silvestri too has been fleeting for Giannis Diapakis' side. Meaney happy to mix it up. Takes it on his left, goes to Baines, and this time it opens up. Nobody home for Templeogue that time. In the half court, Summers beckons Murphy. A bit of remedial work there, sinks the jumper. It's been a good game of basketball. Drum. His turn his turn to scream and flex.
Here you see Drum up the screen, uses Baines' screen, and nice finish there. Killeen is this time caught with a foul, and that'll be his fourth, so that puts him in a little bit of trouble. It'll be interesting to see if Coach Keenan makes the switch, puts Bonaparte in for Summers, and gives Jason a little rest, or lets Jason try and see out this game. I mean, I don't think it'll be long either way before we see Bonaparte again.
.6:22 to go. UCD Marian in bonus point territory. That rule's been done away with quite some time. So it's all or nothing in this Dublin derby. Puff Summers. That one could have gone either way. UCD Marian wanted the travel.
Good handsome Drum. I think I'd have been happy to see everyone just play on there. Didn't see much of a travel, didn't see much contact, but as you get close toward the end of the games, things will be called tighter and tighter, so you've got to be careful with your hands in particular.
Long range, Puff Summers. Somehow kept that one in play. Feeds Murphy with Drum, and Dan James is not impressed.
Yeah, you see as the ball gets loose here. Probably looked a little bit worse than it was, in fairness. Now it's a play on the ball, but takes Dan out of it, so good bit of competitiveness, and we'll get on with the game.
Yeah, good attempt from Dan James to use the Templeogue point guard as a surfboard on that occasion.
UCD need to try and attack the basket a little bit here. Clean on 4 fouls. You know, with such a long period left in the game, it would be a huge boost for them if they could get Jason to foul out right now. So whilst they love an open 3, with their shooting something going to the basket.
Well, Drum has really been the catalyst for UCD Marian, and feeds Baines on that one.
Yeah, he saw exactly that. Jason just put his hands up, made no attempt to play any kind of defense and pick up the 5th foul. And I think for that reason, we see down below as Bonaparte is back on the bench, they won't want to leave Jason play out there for 5 whole minutes, not being able to play proper defense.
Oh, just when UCD Marian were fired up once more. Great reply. Conor Meany called Baines to provide some protection, to give it back to him, to finish. UCD Marian on form.
Lovely pick and roll basketball there, it's working to effect, and a great steal from Drum.
Game on at the National Basketball Arena. Straight back into the action. We're officially on the stretch. Templeogue keeping it simple, maintaining possession. 8 seconds on the shot clock. More than enough time for Stephen James.
A massive 3 from James. I was talking about Dan James as the possible catalyst for UCD, but it's his brother that's come up trumps and hit a huge 3 as he did for a lot of last season.
Great quality in the 4th quarter. Templeogue want to win this game. They want to take off the pressure. They want an outright lead, because that's the prize. Albeit after just 4 rounds of the Basketball Ireland Men's Super League, the prize is an outright lead at the top in this game. Huge 3. Drummers had his game face on the whole time. Really good at this. Is now the time for Dan James to get his 3-point shooting calibrated. Not just yet. And Larkin Murphy knew exactly what he was doing when he went to draw the foul there.
Yeah, and he's given 2 shots there. Not quite sure how it's 2 shots. He went to pass. Maybe somebody read his mind and decided that if not fouled, he would have shot, but it doesn't seem to be too much of an argument from UCD. And that's what you see from Murphy down once he crossed half court, could see the open space in front of him, really attacked it hard and created the 2 shots for himself in the end, and is getting time for UCD where they need to cut this leader under 5 if they're going to have a chance towards the end of the game.
Drum has been so effective for them.
Yeah, good play out the timeout there. Drawn up by Coach Leopakis, and they clearly gave the instruction to foul as soon as they scored. So they'll walk length of the court, 36 seconds to go, so they want to leave as much time on the clock as possible. But if Templeogue can continue to hit their foul shots, they'll ultimately run out winners in this game.
To be fair, Templeogue have made the free throws when they've needed to. Timeout called by UCD Marian, 36 seconds left on the clock.